Yeah. Back there laughing. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Irving Fryar here, back with you again for another episode, another chance to talk here, have great conversations, some conversations that are fire here at the Fryar Place. I am your host. We got a great guest for you today, but y'all come on in the room. I see 5 of you who have already logged in. I don't see you in the comments, though. Say hello, say something, say you're here. Let me know who you are. We're going to shout out to you just for a couple more minutes. I want to make sure to give you all time to come on in so you can hear everything that happens today. We're going to make sure that you are involved. I actually have some information for those of you who are our normal viewers, our live viewers. I have some information for you today. I need you to hang on till the end of the show, though, because I'm not going to reveal it until the end of the show, until we talk to our guest. He's a very busy man, so we don't want to keep him all day. We want to make sure we're considerate of his time. But there is some information I have for you, my viewers, those who normally come on. It has to do with last week. I've got some text messages. I've got some emails. I got some direct messaging about last week. So I'm going to make some corrections from last week. All right. And I see you come on up. Hey, what's going on, Al Williams? How you doing? That's my fraternity brother, y'all. He said, Root. What's going on, Mom? My mom's always on every week. Mama, thank you for your support. You know, when your mama don't support you, you know something wrong with you. If your mama don't support you, Blaine, he's in the background. That's right. When your mama don't support you, listen, females, women, if his mama says he ain't no good, believe her. He ain't no good. Listen, my mama support. Thank you, Mom. Every week, she right on it. She's the first one in. Richard Melton, what's going on? Good to see you, my brother. Who else is in the house, in the room? I see like 10 of y'all who have logged on already. I only see 3 people in the comments, y'all. Y'all come on in. Don't forget, we're in. Let me change this real quick so I can put this on the screen. We have Press and Sew, where we have our merchandise. Come on in, Press. Come on, Press and Sew. That's Alexa talking now. I'm not talking to you, Alexa. Press and Sew, PRSS, the letter N, SOW.com/TFP. That's where you can find our merch, the Fryar Place merchandise. Yep. Hats, shirts, sweats, hoodies at the Fryar Place at pressandsew.com. When you purchase, any purchase you make, there at pressandsew.com/TFP. You hit that, you'll go right to the Fryar Place. Any purchase you make, the proceeds go to charity. So please, let's help somebody while we look good. All right. I don't have any TFP stuff on today, but it'll be all right. You see me in my stuff all the time. Don't forget, we're on iHeartRadio. Come on, get out of there, Press and Sew. Yo, ever since, Apple made this update on the computer. Ever since it made the update, everything's acting cuckoo. I can't get stuff to go away and pop up. Okay, come on, iHeartRadio. No, we're on iHeartRadio, y'all. Go to the iHeartRadio app, download the app, search the Fryar Place, and you'll see us there. There it is. Look, it's doing what it wants to do. I didn't push a button. It did it by itself. Unbelievable. Just this stuff is crazy. Anyway, sometimes it works great, no problems, flawless. And then there's just every now and then it just acts like it's got its own brain and wants to do its own thing. So iHeartRadio, you can check us out. All right. Ooh, it went away. I'm going to bring our guest in, y'all. Brother Blaine E. Bishop. Some of y'all may not know who this is. I see you, Al Williams. Hope, I see you. God bless you. Thanks for being with us today. Some of y'all may not know this man, but I think all of you do know who Blaine Bishop is. If you know anything about professional football, you know who Blaine Bishop is. And Blaine, I think for the most part, you might be the first defensive back I had on the show that I actually.
That's because all of them didn't want to get you embarrassed them.
No. But I think you're the first one I had on the show that I actually played against. I don't know if we played against one another because I don't remember ever playing the Titans.
Yeah, we played the Dolphins in Miami. Ooh, that's when they had Sam Madison and Surtain at corner. Were you there then?
Surtain. Did I play with Surtain? I was there 93, 94, 92, 93, 94, 95. That's when I was in Miami.
Oh, okay. No, they were after that.
They were after that, yeah. So we played at the same time. I don't think our paths crossed on the field, though, which was probably a good thing.
Yeah.
So we can still remain buddies. You know what? I know some. Let me give you some stats. I want to give stats about this man so y'all know that he is legitimate. Oh. Not that he's just a handsome dude and he's got a nice Blaine Bishop. That's cool, bro. I love that name. I've always loved your name.
There was something behind that.
Okay, we're going to talk about that then. 10 years in the NFL, all right? You started out with the Houston Oilers and stayed the Oilers, then you went to Tennessee and the Titans, then you finished up with the Eagles. 1 year here with the Eagles, played with Brian Dawkins right at your side. That's a great tandem. Eighth round draft choice in 1993, Houston Oilers. Four-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. Played in Super Bowl number 34 versus it was Kurt Warner and the greatest that wasn't the greatest show on turf. Was it called the greatest show on turf? Yeah, St. Louis Rams lost the Super Bowl, but they got there. Played next to Brian Dawkins, as I said, in Philadelphia. He's number 15. Number 15 on the Titans. You don't know this, do you? You were number 23. I know you were number 23, but you were number 15. Yeah. You're number 15 on the all-time greatest Titans in the history of the franchise. You're number 15.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Went to Ball State. He's in the Ball State. 2003, got inducted into the Ball State Hall of Fame, Ball State University Hall of Fame. 2018, he was inducted into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. Co-host right now, radio show in Nashville called Blaine and Mickey. We're going to talk about that a little bit. That's why we can't keep him all day because you got to go do a show. So talk about that. Your name. You said something about it. I hadn't planned on talking about your name, but what's behind the Blaine Bishop thing?
Well, it's nothing, unusual. I grew up a single parent home, and my mom was always thinking outside the box, and I grew up in the projects, and so she was wanted to make sure when I was doing my interviews as an adult, looking ahead of time, that even on my resume, someone named Blaine, you couldn't pigeonhole them into what nationality they were. And then my middle name is Elwood, which was a family name from my great uncle. So that's kind of just a little backdrop. I've never even actually spoken on that until today on your Fryar Place. So yeah,
that's what we do here, bro. We have conversations that are fire. We let stuff out of the hat that folk don't know. We reveal the most intimate areas of our life. No, we don't go that far.
Yeah, well, I mean, not intimate, but I guess personal stuff that nobody thinks about talking about, and that's you start rehashing some of your memories and to things that you forgot about, and then now you look at the history and go back as we get older,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
know the reason, the why behind it.
Well, those that don't know or maybe have never seen any film with you, and I see again. Let me see who's on with us right now. Those of you who may not know Blaine or have seen him play, I'm sure my mother saw you play because she watched all of my games and followed the NFL. And my sister Hope is on; she knows who you are. Blaine is not a real big guy. He's like
Yeah,
you were like 200. Were you 205 or 209 pounds?
yeah,
But you
yeah.
were
I was
like
205. Yeah,
5'9", 5'10" in that area.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
he's not your typical size safety.
Hmm.
Now, for those of you who don't understand football or don't know football, safeties have to tackle. The
Yeah,
corners have to cover for the most part. Yeah, the corners have to set the edge sometimes, but for the most part, corners are there to cover. Safeties are coming in, dropping down to make sure nobody gets behind them. They're the last line of defense on the defensive side of the field. And
hmm,
Blaine, this man here, y'all, that we got right here on the fireplace, was known as the hit man. He was known for his big. No, you were known as a big hitter. I didn't get a chance to play
yeah,
against you, but that was your reputation. I mean, that's what
yeah,
they called you. They called you the hit man. Now,
yeah,
how did you develop? How did you develop that? Because, like you said,
yeah.
you
Well,
came.
let me go through your history lesson. I was a running back in high school slash. I played cornerback. I went to a prominent school there in Indianapolis, Indiana, from Indianapolis, and
Uh
I
huh.
went to Cathedral High School. They recruited me there, Catholic high school, and I played running back, defensive back, and I really believe I was a running back the whole time. I was kind of the breakaway threat guy, and we kind of rotated around with a lot of different guys. But
Hmm.
I played corner, so so when I got to college, I wasn't highly recruited, even though I made all city, all state, all metro, all those things in high school as a defensive back, by the way,
Right. Right.
and I still thought I was a running back. Um, I didn't get highly recruited, so I went to a Division II program that actually doesn't even exist today. It just closed probably 5 or 6 years ago, as far as the football program,
Hmm.
and that was St. Joseph's
St.
College
Joseph's. Yes.
In
Right.
Rensselaer, Indiana.
Hmm.
And I was very distraught and upset that I wasn't highly recruited because, a lot of guys that I knew were getting recruited that, grew up in the projects. And I decided to venture off and go, the education route and go to private school. And so it really hurt. So my freshman year, literally in college at St. Joseph's, I think it was the fourth or fifth game. I can't recall. I got to play running back and defensive back because St. Joseph's first two running backs were injured. And I knew going into the game I was going to be a backup at running back, but I was starting at defensive back. And I scored every way known to man. I intercepted the ball, returned the kick. I
Nice.
scored two touchdowns as a running back too, as well.
Hmm.
And unbeknown to me, the Jets and the Giants were there my freshman year, and they were there to watch the other team. I think it was his running back. I'm not sure, but I was so surprised, when they came up to me after I came out of the locker room that they said I got a chance at the National Football League, and that
Wow.
was literally, 4 months after I wasn't even a Division I prospect.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I didn't. I was a little shocked and stunned at the same time. I was really a focused kid at the time, and I didn't really take it too,
Too seriously.
like, oh, yeah, too serious. I was like, man, dang. I mean, I knew they were serious because they had the Jets and Giants on their shirt, so I knew
Right.
they,
Right. Right.
But I didn't take it seriously until the season ended. I said that was the fourth or fifth game. When the season ended, I made Division II All American.
Okay.
So I went back to my high school coach, who was also the president of the school,
Mm-hmm.
and asked him, "Now, am I a Division I prospect?"
Mm.
And he
Mm.
said, "Absolutely." And I said, "Well, where should I go?" And he was Indiana State. I'm Indianapolis kid, Ball State, and IU. He said, "Well, go to IU. You probably have to sit and wait a while. You go to Ball State, you start right away." I said, "Give him a call." I didn't want to go to Indiana State. That was where my family was from, and I used to go down and visit Terre Haute, Indiana. I didn't want to be nowhere near Terre Haute,
Terre Haute.
Indiana.
I've heard a lot about Terre Haute.
Yeah, yeah. My mom and family were from there, and they grew
Okay.
up around that area during that time. So that's how I ended up. He called Dave Land, who was the I guess recruiting coordinator for Ball State, and they said, "Yeah, we'd love to have him." And so I get up there. I was such a competitor. The rules were different then. because I had a 3.5 GPA. That you had to sit out a year even if you
Right.
moved up.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
I practiced though every single day and played every position known to man based off of scout team.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the season's over, the DC there, Rick Mentor, who has been DC in the league, actually in Philly, actually,
Mm-hmm.
our
Mm-hmm.
linebackers coach there when he finished his career. Been a head coach of Cincinnati, been a DC all over the place. Uh, he uh, he said, "Are you going to be able to compete to play?" And I said, "Play where?" I said, "Are you? I mean, offense or defense?" Because I was playing everywhere on scout team.
Right.
He
Right.
was like, "Well, you can compete for corner." And so I knew the two guys that started corner, and they came out of high school the same year as me.
Uh
And
huh.
I was like, my first answer, and I wasn't cocky or anything. I was just like, "Which one of them getting benched?" I said that to him. I just said, "Hey
Well,
man,
you
which one of them
look.
getting benched?"
Yeah, you knew. You knew.
Yeah, and he was like, "Well, don't worry about that. Everything will take care of itself." And he didn't tell me I was starting either. By the way, he just said you can compete to start.
Right. Right.
But he told me you'd be fourth string running back, and we did have two really good running backs. Bernie Pomaly, who you made a play
Bernie
with.
Pomerly. I played with Bernie down in Miami.
Yeah,
Yes, he's
yes,
coaching
he
now. Isn't
was.
he coaching somewhere?
Yes,
I thought
yeah,
I saw
he's
him
with
on the
the
sidelines.
Jaguars.
Yeah.
hmm And he was a senior when I was going into my, I guess, redshirt freshman year.
Okay.
And then we had Corey Kroom, who was drafted by the Patriots in the fourth round. That was the same year as me. So
Mm-hmm.
he would say, "You'll be fourth." I ain't fourth string nothing. So I'm going to defense.
So
And
that's
so
how
I
you
ended up.
got the defense.
That's how I got the court. That's how I started. And I started, made all conference and that from jump, and it just kind of started from there. And then I got invited to the Senior Bowl, the Blue Gray.
Uh
I'm in the
huh.
Senior Bowl Hall of Fame all the way, by the
Okay.
way, too, as well. And and
So
went to the
how did you?
combine, and I competed against the best at corner the whole time. I was a
Right.
corner the whole time.
So when did you get to safety?
Quadri Ishmael and all this. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I get to camp. We get to training camp. I did mini camps and all that. And I'm at corner. Two guys got injured at safety, and Bubba McDowell, who was a Pro Bowl
Right.
player,
Bubba
great
McDowell.
person, great
Yeah.
human being from the U, and then Marcus Robinson, who I
Mm.
ended up playing with later down the road, tore his ACL.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had another guy, Mike Dumas, who was a first round pick 2 years before I got there, tore his Achilles from
Mm-hmm.
IU.
Mm-hmm.
So I had seen him play before. And so they were like, "Hey, man, you're a sharp kid. You're smart. You're aggressive." Because I was really going to be that nickel guy because I was great in the slide and I could
Uh
cover
huh.
and I could blitz. So that's kind of where the role I was going to be, not as a starter, but, that third, fourth guy.
Right. Right.
And then next thing you know, they moved me there and I'm in the 46 defense. And Buddy Ryan came there and that was his first year. And next thing you know, I'm at safety and I was a backup. I still was a backup, and
Right.
then somebody else got hurt. Then next thing you
That's all it
know,
takes. Yep.
I'm in week 10. I'm getting my first start on Christmas Day versus the 49ers. Steve Young, Jerry Rice, and that whole
Woo.
crew.
Woo.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I did. I said, "Woo," and I didn't know I was going to be starting. I practiced there, but I thought Bubba was going to be able to go because he had something going on with his knee where it was coming and going, and sometimes he was limping, sometimes not. And
Mm-hmm.
so when they told me I was starting, I was pumped up, got jacked up, and really had to get my mind right, at safety because I realized that I had to be a lot more aggressive natured,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it really started just being in the 46 defense.
Right. Right.
I think when you were at the Eagles, and maybe was he there when you were at the Eagles,
No,
Buddy Ryan?
Buddy.
No.
Buddy had left the Eagles. I played for Ray Rhodes when I was at the Eagles. His 3 years
Okay,
there.
Ray Rhodes,
He was there
yeah.
4 years. His last 3 years I played with the Eagles. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But in training camp, yeah, that's when it kind of started. When I was getting buried on special teams by Chris Dishman and those guys running as a gunner, and
this
they were
was my
laughing at
dude.
me, and that had
Yeah.
never happened to me before. And
Uh.
I lined up and said, "Line the MF back up, and we about to do this." And they said, "Uh-oh, this dude is different." And I said, what I was gonna do is I was just gonna attack one of them. Somebody was gonna go down after I got buried out of bounds. I didn't care who, so I went
Right.
after Dish. They
Right.
called him Killer, and it was kind of a joke, but that's what his name was.
Uh huh.
And that's kind of was the rise of the aggressive nature, big hit man hitter,
Hitman.
and it started right there in training camp my rookie year, and it kind of took on its own face, and just kind of took off from there.
Yep, you pick one of the bigger ones, one of the more popular ones, and knock him down, and you'll get
Yes.
you
And then
establish
from that
yourself.
point on, I had respect
There you
from not
go.
only
That's right.
him, but the team. And they was like, hey man, this
Mm-hmm.
dude from Ball State is
Mm-hmm.
he pretty good.
Yep, he ain't messing
And
around. Don't
yeah,
fool
he
around
ain't
with
messing
him.
around. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm gonna give it all I got, and if it work out, great. If it don't, cool. But it worked out.
Wow, yeah, it did work out. You had a great career, man. So you were saying that you not that you were prideful, but you believed in yourself. So when your high school
Uh-huh.
coach, I believe it was your high school coach, told you that you were not a Division I baller, and that he recommended, and was that a conflicting moment for you? Did you believe you could play Division I, but he was telling you you couldn't, and then that moment when you're able to go back and ask him, listen, am I Division I now? was that something that you were working towards, that you were looking forward to?
Yeah, I could tell you that was one of the toughest moments actually of probably my career. And at the time, being a teenager, I
Right.
remember being very frustrated at the time. I could not believe I wasn't getting recruited to that level. And it really burned me.
Mm,
And I was a hard worker, and I was one of those blue collar, I'm gonna give it all I got, but I had some skills too. So I can't say I was just that, but it took me to, it's those times when you working hard, and
right.
then when that happened, it took me to another level. I start running heels, and I started doing all this other stuff that I had never done before, and it drove me to a place that I didn't even think I could reach. And
Mm,
so I was that hurt. It hurt me. I mean,
mm,
literally, I cried.
mm-hmm.
I cried in my bedroom. My mom was there supporting me. He said, "It'll be all right. You'll get to where you need to be. Eventually, the man upstairs will put you where you need to be."
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. But my self confidence really started when I was a young kid, and I had a lot of success at everything that I did, and my family support, and I always believed in myself. And I think that's a key cog that you punched on there, because I
Right.
think a lot of kids probably would have given up and just would have stayed at Division II school, or not even play football anymore after high
Right.
school.
Right. Right.
Um,
So
so I
social
had that
social
I could, yeah,
social media is very I think
totally
detrimental,
different.
can be very
Hmm.
detrimental. We didn't have to deal with social
Yes,
media back then, but now some of these
agree with that.
youngsters, yeah, social media, and they put so much into how social media paints them, whether they have likes,
Hmm.
whether they have people following them or not,
Yes,
and then they shape their self-esteem and their self image based on social media, which is not proper, which is not accurate.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, a lot of young men like yourself
Hmm.
would have turned the other way, and not so much. But what you did, you cried. You did cry. Watch this. You
I
did
did.
cry.
I did.
You believed in the man upstairs. You believed in God, but God doesn't do it all alone. He needs us to work
Yes.
to be a part of our own deliverance. So you went out and you worked and you did what you had to do, and God did the rest. He took care of the rest. You cried,
Yeah.
but you kept moving while you were crying.
Yeah. Yeah. I kept the fortitude. And what I could say is, you know, they couldn't break me.
Mm,
And when I say that, I'm talking about, I think it was just to my upbringing, whether it was support, whether it made me strong because I was in the projects, just a lot of different variables. I think with the supporting cast around me,
hmm
I wasn't, I wasn't going to be broke. And if once I realized that, then the sky was the limit. It
mm,
was really weird.
wow.
And at that point in time, once I was at Ball State and I saw the success, and then next thing you know, 15 scouts are there to watch me play at
Mm,
Ball State. And
mm,
most people don't even know where Ball State is. And it was Division I in the MAC conference, but it
right.
wasn't a football power, or by any means, and but it was Division I, and that's all I wanted to do was play Division I. I grew up in the Midwest, so I went to a Catholic high school, and we looked just like Notre Dame. I wanted to go to Notre Dame. Notre
Right.
Dame was like, "Nah, you can't play here. You too small." And I'm like, "Man, y'all just recruited this dude that I played against," and I'm like, "Hey, man,
I
you
wore
can't
him
touch
out.
me."
I wore him out.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
can't touch me. Did you see me put up an 80-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter to win it? Did you not see that?
They wasn't
But I didn't
watching.
say that. I stayed humble and like,
Well, you
okay,
were
all
saying
right.
that on the inside for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So I just kept, and that was kind of who I was. And I think, people started realizing that, I was a really, really competitive
Mm-hmm.
person. Not only that, but I did have some athleticism. You don't go have a 42-inch vertical at the combine and 360 dunk and being just some regular old Joe dude at 5'9", 5'10".
No,
So it
no,
just ain't
no.
happening out there. That's on the Spud Webb level.
Five
So
nine, 5'10".
it's just
You in the league. You're special. You're
yeah,
special.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, these people don't really know. So I had a lot of breaks along the way too. There,
Right.
but they happened, and had some people who supported me and believed in me. And then senior year in college, Rick Minner called me and said, "Hey man, we got a guy that's talking about going in the first round. I think you just as good as him, man. Come on down here to Notre Dame." Because then he had left my senior year and he
Mm-hmm.
came to DC at Notre Dame, and
Okay.
he was like, "Come on down here and work out with Tom Carter. He's a first round pick." And I was like, "Ooh!" And I came down and worked out, and that just kept escalating my confidence. I was
Right.
like, "All right,
Right.
he may be a little looser in the hips than me, but
Uh
as
huh.
far as football acumen and my athleticism, and he was
Right.
maybe a little bit faster than me, vertical speed."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Shoot, I'm right there."
Right.
And so
And
then going to the Senior Bowl, the Blue Gray, and the Combine, my confidence just kept rising. It was just
nice.
like all these dudes on TV that I've been watching. You want to say you can compete with them, but until
Mm-hmm.
you hook up with them, and the
You don't
telling the
know.
tape when I was running with Quadri Ishmael at the Senior
Whoo.
Bowl, and I was like, "Ooh!" I was running so fast, I ran into the goalpost at practice. I couldn't even stop. That's exactly what they was doing, laughing at me. Yeah. That was Alabama was there because they had won the national championship in '93. So we had a whole bunch of Alabama guys, Curry, Copeland, Wembley, a lot of defensive guys, not really skill guys, but
And y'all, he says
that
he's
that
running
kind of
so
really.
fast he ran into the goalpost. Now this is not the time. He's not an old man. He's fit what 52. These when the goalposts were in the back of
In the
the
back of
end
the end
zone.
zone.
So
I
he
ran.
ran.
I couldn't stop. That's the fast I ever ran, running against Quadri. I was like, good Lord. And then, I ended up playing against him at the Ravens all the time. But but at safety. So
But
I
you knew
was
you
like,
could run
good.
with him. You knew you could run with him.
I knew I could run. That's all I wanted to show.
So
That's
you got
all.
you got a
Yeah.
son now. You had your challenges. Coming through Keenan, I see you. Stewart, I see you. Vanetta, I see you. Sister Sally, I see y'all. I'll get to you in a minute. But let me keep talking to our guest right now. Y'all, this is Blaine Bishop, 10-year NFL safety, 4-time Pro
Yeah.
Bowler, Houston Oilers, Tennessee Titans. This man's a bad dude. So you had your challenges, all right?
Yes, I did.
You were able to overcome them and be prosperous in your skill, doing your job on the field. Now you have a son who's at the same school you were at.
Yeah, well, that was really
And
not planned out by any
well,
means.
no, it wasn't planned out, but I'm just saying, just the way things have happened.
It happened.
There he is. He's at Ball State, right? And
Yes,
he's having some challenges right now. What what
absolutely.
what? How are you not pushing him necessarily, but how are you imparting into him because you've experienced it? You were there, and you actually lived it, and you were actually victorious in it. How are you? What are you saying to him? What are you imparting to him?
Well, naturally, his background is a little bit different than mine. In that I grew up in the projects. He
Well,
growing up in
yeah,
the mansion. So
he grew up in the
so
mansion. Yeah.
that yeah. So he was a real good baseball player, and I wanted him to stick with that.
Uh huh.
But he finally, his sophomore year, went out for high school. He was a wide receiver, and he went out there and killed it. And I was like, oh, this looks like trouble.
He got some of his
And
daddy in him. Come on, what? He
yeah,
got his daddy in him.
he was faster than me, but we were the same size, so he has those challenges. And eventually, everybody wanted to move him to defensive back. He had a lot of offers, but then he got injured his senior year. Had the high ankle sprain surgery with the Tua surgery. I'm gonna call it Tua surgery. That's when it kind of got on the map.
Uh huh.
Same ankle surgery Tua had from Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
and then so a lot of people dropped him, and that's how he ended up at Ball State. And then they converted him to defensive back because he was going back and forth from offense to defense, even though he didn't play a lot of defense in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so now he's ready to be a defensive back. He's learning ins and outs, and he's a 5'10", 4'4" guy. So he's having his challenges, and I tell him all the time, hey man, if I came out today, I wouldn't get drafted because I'm not meeting any of the measurables. I'm not, you the 5'10" guy.
Right,
You
right.
got to be on the right team.
Yeah,
You're playing that
yeah.
slot. If you're a defensive back or if you're a wide receiver, you're playing the slot.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be that guy. And so I said, yeah, I might have got drafted just on my argument, but I probably would have been a free agent. So I'm just trying to stay positive, and I watch his film and try to help him and correct him. And I see a lot of really good things. And I think sometimes, you see things that, actually college coaches don't see
Don't see.
because they're,
Right.
they're
Yeah.
recruiting and
Yeah.
they're worried
Right.
about the scheme and the
Right.
system and all those things. So I stay very positive in his support and in his dreams. And sometimes it's a detriment that he is, he went there as a receiver and now he's playing defensive back, whereas dad's a Hall of Famer there. So now expectations are a little bit different,
Yep.
from a coach's point of view, which is not fair to him, but that's
No.
just the way it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, he's working through it, and I'm really proud of him because he's grown a lot, and now I think he's ready to prosper, and the sky's the limit. So we shall see how it all plays out.
So do you think he can go to the next level? He's got the talent, got the skill. I know he's
Well,
got the blood. He's got the bloodline.
yeah, he definitely got the DNA. Actually, he put that. He made his own Twitter handle. He just changed it and put DNA and all this stuff. He's really creative like that. I wasn't like that. He got all that from his mom, who's super smart, cum laude type person.
Woo.
Yeah, she runs her own company. But so I think he has the ability. He definitely has the speed and the acumen and all those intangible things that you need. You
Right.
just got to get on field and show it. So I
Right.
think he's got somewhat of a shot, even if it was as a free agent shot. But
Right.
he's got 3 years of eligibility. But we shall see how the development goes once you're out there and you're competing against some of the elite guys. And
Mm-hmm.
being that you're at Ball State, I live for those big games. And that's really what put me on the map. Every time we played a big team, I told the coach, I want the best receiver, and I'm playing a man-to-man the whole entire game. I don't want no help. That's how I was.
Shut him
It
down.
didn't matter. We
Nice.
played Clemson, I got him. Whoever we always usually played, Big Ten schools.
Right. Right.
So it was
Right.
IU or
Mm-hmm.
Purdue or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, Wisconsin. I played in
Wisconsin. Yeah.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
with
school
Troy Vincent, a guy I played with in Philly.
in Philly. Yep. Mm-hmm.
He was there then at the
Mm-hmm.
time. He came out in '92, but we played
Troy,
down there.
Troy was the reason Troy was the reason I came to Philadelphia, because Troy and I played together in Miami. He went to
Yeah.
Philadelphia as a free agent. I was a free agent that same time, and he talked to them about me, and then I got a phone call from Troy. You want to come to Philly? I'm like, when? So I was right behind Troy coming to Philly.
Wow.
That was Troy's
that's
doing.
why
Yeah.
I was at Philly too. Me and Troy knew each other from
Really?
that time when I played.
Wow.
Yeah, because I used to return punts and everything in college.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he was like, "Hey man, he knew who I was." And
Right.
I was like, "That red and white up there stand for Ball State. It's not Wisconsin." And meanwhile, our offense didn't get past the 50-yard line. I mean, stuff like that. So Troy, I went out to eat Troy, me and Andy, and
Yeah.
when I became a free agent and I got there and
Nice.
it was great. Andy and Bobby Taylor and crew and Dog man, what a great
Yeah.
human being
Yeah.
outside of being an exceptional player, one of
Yes.
the best to ever do it.
Yes, I was there when his rookie year. It's funny, and I don't tell this story often because I don't want to, make it seem like when he was a rookie, he didn't have a lot of confidence in himself.
Yeah. We had the same ages, so I know
Right.
a little bit about that.
Yeah,
stuff.
he would.
Yeah.
We would do a team prayer. It's so funny. We getting ready for the game, all dressed, getting ready to go out. I would always have the team prayer we stand in the shower and hold hands, and those of us who were Christians would come in and we pray together as Christians who were on the team, just like we prayed together on the 50-yard line after the game. So I'd pray for everybody. Then we're back out, going back to our lockers, getting ready to go out. Brian would come and tap me on my shoulder. I said, "What's up, Brian? Rev, you think you come pray for me again? You come back in the shower and pray for me again. I need you to pray for me." I was like, okay. So I go back and pray for him. And then in training camp, now I was an older guy, and we were the same kind of training camp it was old school. We practiced twice a day. We'd have a few hours in between practices. So those hours in between practices, those of us who were older, we taking a nap. So I'd be in my room taking a nap, and here come Brian knocking on my door. Hey, I need you to pray for me, man, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure what I'm doing the right thing, so on and so forth. So, and to see how he developed, and to see the great player and the Hall of Fame player that he developed into and became, is just amazing. Because when he was a rookie, man, he wasn't sure about what he was doing. He wasn't sure about himself, and he just needed someone to just, pat him on the back, tell him everything was all right. You're doing good. You just hang in there, keep doing what you're doing. And man, he turned into a great player. So,
Man, it sounds like you helped him grow in his faith, because his faith was really strong when I
yes.
got to him. I think a little bit of, I don't know about it. I don't think his confidence wasn't there when I got there with him, but I think he was where he was as how good he could be.
Right,
And
right.
man, I tell you, every game I was telling him, you the best safety in the league, and
Yeah.
he showed. He should have won Defensive Player of the year, and I would say I wanted to say I was part of that because I felt like I kept building him up and telling him how great he was. And I said, man, I had never played with somebody. He could have played corner. He was just overly aggressive. He just
Right.
had so
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
skill and talent.
He couldn't play corner because he was
Right,
too
but he's
aggressive.
too
Yeah.
aggressive nature.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, he returned a punt. He blocked a kick.
Yeah.
All of them for touchdowns. I mean, he scored every. They did a fake punt. I mean,
Yeah.
he scored every which way the man that season. So him and his family are great people, Christian,
Yep.
faithful people.
Good people,
And
man.
man, I really appreciate who he became. And then I saw him later on, and he didn't talk a lot then. And then I saw him then be turned into a leader and
Yes.
speaking to the group
Yes.
and being that guy.
Yes.
And man, that was fabulous just kind of watching.
It's
Now I'm
amazing.
retired
Yeah.
watching him. And I said, wow, that was incredible to see the maturation
Yep.
process of
Yeah.
an NFL player. And
Mm-hmm.
he deserved it all.
Mm-hmm. So you got your radio show, Blaine, and what's the other cat's name?
Mickey, yeah, Blaine and
Blaine
Mickey show.
and Mickey. You're on every day, 1 to 3. Talk about that. How can we listen to it nationally? Is it nationally? Can we go? Can we find you and
Yeah,
listen
yeah,
to your
yeah.
show?
We have an app, 1045. Yeah, 1045 The Zone here in Nashville.
Okay.
Get an app and click on it. You can listen to me daily, on the
Okay.
app
Yep.
all day long, 1 to 3. But I've done all the different time slots, and then now I finally got my name on the show. And
So is
so
it
it's
a
been
sports show or is it sports or you
all
guys just
sports. Yeah,
all
all sports.
sports?
Yeah, we're affiliates of Tennessee, so we talk all Tennessee things, whether it's football, basketball, but in the Titans, of course. And I'm also on Titans radio, pre
Mm-hmm.
and post.
Pre and
So
post game, right? On the same station,
mhm.
right?
Yes,
Same
they are
station.
partners.
Now, see that's one of the things that because Ike Reese does that here with
Yes, I'm good
WIP.
friends with him. Yeah,
Yes, and I play with Ike here in Philly. You all
yeah, I do too.
amaze me because you do all the sports. It's enough for me just to do football, to remember the names and all the changes, and you guys do
Right.
all of the sports. I admire that. I can't do that. I'm not. I don't have that capacity to be able to remember all of that and to follow all of that.
Yeah,
Because all sports don't interest me for one, so it's hard for
yeah,
me to
yeah.
retain, any information about it because not every sport. I'm not a big sports fan, so to speak. I'm a golfer. I love football. I love track and field, those kinds of things. I like watching bowling, but when you talk about a lot of basketball, particularly hockey, I don't do hockey at all. But you all talk about all of that. That's just amazing. Is that something that you always have been? You've always been a sports fan, or is that something you had to work at when you got into the radio business?
Great question. I was always a sports fan and wanted to be a broadcaster. When I went to school, I did the broadcasting. We had the David Letterman, graduated from Ball State, so they had a great communications building and programs there at the university. So I was prepared. I didn't know I was going to make the league, so I was preparing to be a broadcaster. I wanted to be Brian Gumble. That was kind of I met him at a steak and burger dinner that I won an award for Youth of the Year from the Boys and Girls Club, and we said at the he was the keynote speaker, and
Hmm.
so I've always thought I was going to be a broadcaster. So I'm living a dream where I got to do both of my dreams and then be a broadcaster, as well as an NFL player. So I'm really, living in heaven. Now I have to say, I was not a hockey guy. That was the only sport I didn't watch. So
Right.
I've grown and learned a lot about hockey over the years. Now being on 15 years on the radio. So
Wow. Wow.
I thought I would be on TV, but it kind of worked out. I got a face for radio.
No, no. I was I was going somebody told you got a face for it. No, no. Marty's
Nah,
menu. What's going on? I see you, bro. David Hunt, always good to see. Everybody hit that like button. Like David Hunt said, hit that like button so we get likes. Are you still coaching?
No.
Well, I was going to say, when do you have time to coach with all of that? You were coaching defense at a high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, at private high school?
I was, and then when they moved my time slot, I had to stop. But I really really enjoyed it and wish I could still keep doing it. But that is a part of me, that's really was my edge as a player. Besides, my mental toughness and fortitude, but it was really my acumen of football. I had a photographic memory as a player, and I used that to my advantage. I'd be running to the ball before the ball was even snapped, and I would just watch film, and I just loved it. So I always try to, believe in people and support and build confidence with players
Nice.
that most people don't. And that's kind of was my special sauce for, some of these backup guys that were in high school, and the coaches get nervous when you put them out there. And I said, no, I coached them up. This guy follows all the directions I ever tell them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go out there and they ball out. And each person was different. Oh, don't yell at this guy.
Right.
He then kind of gets frizzled, and you can't, you don't want him. I got him. Bring him over my side. I like him. He's a good athlete, for the high school level.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really kind of showed me what I would be. And probably I probably really should be in coaching, but just the hours that goes into that at that level from college to pro just didn't appeal to me. And I wanted to be a part of my family life and my son's life, because I grew up a single family home, so that was very valuable to me.
Right.
So I never really pursued it, but I'm in touch with all the coaches that coached me and are still in the league when they play here.
Right.
We meet and go out to eat. And
Yeah.
like Spagnola, the DC, he was my DB coach.
Right.
Leslie Frazier, I talked to him all the time. He was he was
Really?
the DB coach, corner coach.
Yeah.
I was on a heck of a staff. They had Ron Rivera. Harbaugh was a special teams
Harbaugh. Wow. Listen, Ron Rivera and I came out. We were in the same class. We played at the same time. We got drafted in the same year. Yeah.
Yeah. So they, Andy had a heck of a staff.
Wow, that's awesome. That's all. So what was what would you say was your biggest challenge, in coaching high school at that level? Besides the time, that you had to put in?
I don't know if I really had a challenge. To be honest, I think it was just in my blood to be a coach.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I never said this. I thought I could be a head coach at a private school, make some decent money, and I could just dominate. Because once I realized that I was just as smart as them and they'd been in the industry 20 years,
right,
I was like, well, they about to be in trouble. I'm about to take off with this.
Well, a lot of those cats, we forgot more about football than they know.
Yeah, and I'm assuming, we on fourth down. I said, he said, what you gonna play? I'm gonna play. I said, I'm gonna play cover 2. They always run this flat route. We're gonna shut that down.
Right.
Said, nobody's out in the flat. What do you mean nobody's out in the flat? He's cover 2.
Cover 2.
All right.
He lines up in the flat.
Right. So once that started happening, I was like, okay, I'm about to. And then the radio kind of just took off and blew up and went to a whole another stratosphere. I never dreamed that I'd be doing this. And it started off with me just doing Titans radio, and I was just doing pre and post game.
Uh-huh.
And then they said, hey man, you need to get a show. So
nice.
I was like, what? A show?
No, you're good. You're very articulate, man. You're smooth. You got it. You got your savvy there.
I had a radio show when I was playing too, so I already had the connects.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Yeah. You I've never heard anybody say it before. You said it just now, and I've said it before to myself. You said you had a photographic memory. It just came to you naturally. We have that in common. When I played ball, you'd be people. I never from the high school all the way through the pros, I never carried a playbook. I never opened my playbook, because first of all, we go in and they install it. Then they show it to us on film, right? Then we go out and we walk through it.
Yep.
And then we come back in, get dressed, and go back out, have lunch, then go back out and practice it. What do I need to study it for? We just did it 5 times.
No, wait. But we all know there are some dudes who do need to study after we did all that. Because I used to be like,
Well, I
I
couldn't.
get frustrated. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
man, you don't know what to do? Are you kidding me?
I was the same way. I couldn't understand it. I'm like, we go over it and over it and over it. What do you need? What you know? How can you not know this?
Dude. Yeah, the coaches just let me. I just go, but I go off on dudes and walk through. Like, hey man,
we
we
just
we not playing around out here,
right.
man. What are
Yeah,
you doing,
you're
bro?
not
Come on,
paying
quit all that
attention.
chuckling and driving, man. Let me laughing. We ain't joking right now. You joke if you know what you're doing.
Well, listen, Hit Man, I'm gonna let you out of here, man. Listen, where can people find you? I think I got you on Instagram. It says at Blaine Bishop 23 on Instagram, and then on
Yeah,
Twitter,
yeah.
you're at B Bishop 23.
There
So
you go.
so
You
you
got
can
it. That's where
so you
I'm
can
at.
follow my man on Instagram at Blaine Bishop 23 and on Twitter at B Bishop 23.
Yeah. But I got to say this. You know, I played for Philly. I know that the Philly fans
Uh-oh.
harass me.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk.
How it ended.
We gotta talk
But
about. Go ahead, and we're gonna talk about the game for a minute too.
but I'm about to give you my bold prediction.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I didn't know where you
I
going.
didn't. Yeah, I didn't want to
I
get you
got a
out of
little
here.
more. I got a little more time. I know you was trying to get me out. I got a little more time.
Okay, all right, my bad. My bad. So hang in there. So you're down there with the Titans. The Eagles are playing the Titans in a couple of days. What is it, Friday? 2 more days. Titans will be up here. They're probably coming up tomorrow, and it's a big game for both teams because both teams are really kind of. Although the Eagles won their last game, they've been sloughing and slipping and sliding the last couple of weeks, and the Titans haven't been running the ball like they normally run the ball the last 3 weeks. I think it's been.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk to us. Tell me what's up, man. What we gonna see on Sunday?
Well, it's kind of crazy. The Titans hadn't beat anybody. They've been in games that are playoff caliber. But they run the football. That's their identity. When you have a special player like Derrick Henry, he's probably the best runner at running back.
Right.
I always clarify that because his overall skill sets, he's not splitting out wide running routes and all those things. He's catching screens and stuff like that. But when it's 2 minute, he's not out there.
Right.
He's not really that good of he's just an okay blocker, and his receiving skills are just okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the best runner at running back probably in the National Football League. So they're going to run the ball. They want to be physical. The last 2 or 3 weeks, as you mentioned, hadn't been so well as far as the running game, but it has opened my eyes to the passing game and what they can do passing, because I believe this is the only way they're going to win some games in the playoffs. If you can't throw the football, then you're not going to have success when you get in the playoffs. All the teams are really good. They're going to have some good defenses. You may be able to get by one game in the first round, but after that, no way.
Right.
And
so
so
throw
it kind of forced them to throw the football, and we've seen Tannehill do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Considering, he had a 300-yard game. He was like,
333.
for 25. Yeah. And then Traylon Burks has helped that process because everybody else who was the first-round pick, as you know, being a receiver in the first round, he got injured, came in out of shape, then got injured, and now he's kind of risen. And I think they have a great shot at winning this game, and it's going to be because of him. And I think he's going to have to open up the game because Robert Woods is kind of now at the end, but he's more of a possession receiver.
Right.
And then NWI, the other receiver, is kind of that too, is at the same time. But then they have a tight end, Chigakonkwo from the Maryland area. He went to Maryland. And that's kind of opened up the offense. So I'm interested to see if they can have balance where now they can pick their poison. If you're going to do everything you can to stop the run, which is what some teams have done. They changed their whole scheme. They go 5 D linemen, 6. I'm like, dang.
Yeah, but they don't. But they don't believe Tannehill can throw the ball enough to win the game. So if they make him one dimensional,
right now, I completely agree, and I know that's the perception. Now, until he does in the playoffs, for me, that's the only time I could. In the regular season, Tannehill is very efficient.
Yeah, he's
kind of
efficient.
like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
It's like Jimmy Garoppolo is a real good quarterback, and then you get in the playoffs, you're like, when the big moment happens, he'll miss that critical throw.
Right.
That's kind of Tannehill.
Right.
That is Tannehill, just in a smaller market.
Right.
And I think people are going to be shocked at how good and precise with his passes that he is. He's not it's funny. I used to get on here, on Miami radio when we first got him, 3 or 4 years ago, and they used to laugh like Tannehill's horrible. And I'm like, hey, man, what we're seeing here is not the same Tannehill. I don't know what happened.
Right.
But he is totally confident. He is accurate. He can throw the deep ball. He can run. You know, I said, this guy used to be a wide receiver at A&M. This guy can run. You got to watch him.
Right. He's an NFL. He's an NFL caliber quarterback for sure.
Now, is he on the elite level?
No, he's above, but he's above average.
Right.
He's above average. Yes.
And that's all they want here with the Titans. And he's productive, and you don't turn the ball over, you'll be fine. So I don't know if that'll ever get them to the Super Bowl, but I think they can surprise the Eagles, who is an elite level team, because they run the football. So I'll be really interested to see what the Eagles do to stop the run. And I don't know about the Jordan Davis kid. I know he was out, but I watched
he's still out.
The Commanders game, and I was
they played keep away.
Just don't run it.
Yeah, they played keep away, and we weren't able to stop. Not they were getting long runs, but the Eagles weren't able to get them off the field. They were getting 3 yards, 4 yards at a clip, and they did that on a consistent basis up and down the field. And it gave the offense for the Eagles very little time on the field. They played keep away and significantly beat the Eagles. I mean, just dominated the game pretty much. And the Eagles have struggled. They just have struggled. They struggled in special teams. It showed up this past week. They had 3 big kickoff returns against them, and they struggled stopping the run. And they haven't played a big back like Derrick Henry. So part of the struggle has been actually tackling. You know, you got to put your face in there. You got to commit. You can't just hang on and ride.
This is a decision during the week that I got to run up in there.
You got to commit, and for some reason, a lot of that hasn't been going on. So and they haven't corrected it. And here's a week where we're going to find out if they're going to make the adjustments they need to make. Because if they don't, Derek is going to run the ball well this week. If they don't have Jordan back. He's not back. I mean, we got Ndamukong Suh and we got Joseph in, and to try to fill some of that emptiness while Jordan is out. But they played okay the first game they played, but last week they didn't. They just ran the ball up and down the field. They didn't run it all the time because it was a shootout pretty much. But when they did run the ball, they ran the ball effectively. I think they had, I think it was like 7 yards or 6 yards a carry average for Green Bay last. Yeah, they had a good average. Didn't have a whole lot of yards, but when they ran the ball, they ran it with some consistency in terms of good clips. But we have
AJ Brown. How's AJ Brown been with you guys? Because I said he was that dude when he was with the Titans, but I know he's got his deal. I know you're a receiver, so I'm gonna get your true assessment of what you think of what's AJ Brown.
When he came in like a house on fire. He did, because he was new. It was a new toy for Jalen Hurts. Started throwing him the ball the first game or so.
They're friends.
Yeah, they're friends. Started throwing the ball. He had a couple of big games in the first few weeks, but then over these last, and he's a bigger guy. I think he's like 220 pounds, AJ Brown. Last 2 weeks, he's had 2 turnovers where he's caught
2 fumbles,
caught a ball inside, and he was, instead of picking a guy out in the middle, there's a lot of guys in the middle. You get your feet on the ground, pick a guy out, hit splitting, and run into him, initiate contact. And when you do that, you're less likely to fumble. There's less likely something bad to happen. You got to when you're in the middle of the field, catching a slant route or catching a dig or anything like that, where you've got to be in the middle of the field, catch the ball, get your feet on the ground, and initiate contact, and you'll be all right. He's in there dancing. He's dancing, stopping, trying to make moves and stuff, and that's how he got the ball ripped away from him twice. Once last week and once the week before. I think he might be dinged up a little bit. 3 weeks ago, he hurt his ankle. He was running a route and fell, and then he let a defensive back corner bully him and knock a ball down while he was in Washington when they were playing what do you call those, Commodores?
Commanders, right.
I call them the Commodores.
Call them command skins.
I call them the Commodores. So the last few weeks have been a little less than adequate, I should say. He's had some good moments, but these last few weeks have been downhill for him. Not to say that he hasn't played well. He has played well. When you look at his numbers and what the team has done, he's performed, but he's got to pick it up. He's got to pick it up, and I'm sure he wants to do that playing against his old teammates. He doesn't catch a lot of balls, just like he didn't catch a lot of balls down there in Tennessee, because we have so many people to throw the ball to. But now Dallas Goedert is down, and they haven't figured out. They got 3 tight ends trying to replace Dallas Goedert, and they haven't figured out how to get the tight end the ball. They didn't throw one ball to the tight end last week. Dallas Goedert's been hurt for 2 weeks now. They had an extra week, another week after he got hurt to figure out how to get the tight ends involved. They haven't figured out how to get that's because Dallas Goedert is so good.
He's a good player.
I consider him to be, some people don't, they say Kelsey is, but I consider Goedert to be the best tight end in the league. He can block, he can run, he can catch, he can run routes. He's strong, he's fast, he's quick, he's all that. He does all of that. He was number 1 in yards after catch for tight ends in the league when he got hurt. So they miss him. They miss him. And they got some holes in the secondary. Who was it? The safety got hurt. Gardner Johnson. Yeah, Gardner Johnson got hurt when a guy named Blankenship came in that nobody knew of and made some plays, got an interception, made a couple good tackles. So we'll see. But he's not Gardner Johnson, and they've got some holes in the middle.
Gardner Johnson, but
they got some holes in the middle of the field.
I do know him. He went to Middle Tennessee State.
Gardner Johnson did, or no. Blankenship? Blankenship.
Yeah, this is his rookie year, undrafted.
Yep. This is his rookie year. He's undrafted. Nobody even knew who he was.
Yeah.
But he's aggressive. You can see it, man. He's aggressive. I can't. He made a tackle the other day where he came up from the safety spot and ran out into the flat and tackled the back before the back even crossed the line of scrimmage. He's aggressive. So we'll see. We'll see.
He got to grow. Got to get some experience, though. Got to grow.
I think it's a decisive game for the Eagles. And also, Tennessee is, you're atop of the AFC South, and nobody's real close to you. What the closest team close to you? What, they're 4-7?
Yeah, 4 wins. It's a bag. So they got some cushion here, especially against the NFC team. But
right.
I really believe this is going to be a closer game than people expect. I know people look at the record and Philly's at the top of the league, not just NFC. I think the Titans, if they can't stop the Titans or can contain it better, the run game, when they see Derrick Henry live and in person.
Oh, bro, you ain't telling me
they gonna be like,
he's a monster.
Like if I saw him, I'd be like, hey man, I gotta go back in this. I'm about to bang my head on the locker room. Cause this dude,
give me some bigger pads. Yeah, I know he's big, man.
Yeah, he's a massive 6'3", 240 dude.
Yeah,
he can run. Now he ain't the jump cut type guy.
No, he don't need to be.
He will run vertical.
Yeah, and if you don't tackle him, you got to tackle him, man. You got to tackle him. Like you said, you got to make a business decision and throw yourself in there to get him on the ground. So they haven't played anybody close to him as far as running back this year. They've had a couple of smaller, more compact, heavier running backs, but nobody like Derek. So this is going to be an interesting. I know Tennessee, in order for them to win this game, they have to be who they are. That is run the ball first and let Tannehill throw, because it takes the pressure off him when you're moving the ball and you're running the ball and you're controlling the clock. He doesn't have to take any chances. He doesn't have to do anything crazy. They're running, but if they're not able to run the ball like they haven't been the last couple of weeks, I think the secondary for the Eagles, Bradbury and Slay, they're going to give Tannehill some problems.
Yeah, and I think that's where the rubber meets the road. Those are really good quality corners, especially Slay.
Yeah,
he's off the charts. He's one of the best in the business.
And he's like you. He knows it. He's like you. He knows it.
Yeah. He plays with that confidence, that air about him. I love his game. That's one of my son's favorite cornerbacks.
All right.
And I was like, well, I wish you was 6'1", 5'10", man. So I watch him a lot, and I wonder why my son likes him so much. So I've been in his game the last 5, since he's been in the league. Really, he started off in Detroit, right?
Right. Yeah, he was with Detroit.
So he's a really good dude. So and I think they can shut down the receivers from the Titans, except where that's why I said that first round pick Traylon Burke, because he has size and power and strength, like you did, like AJ Brown, and he's coming into his own, and he's coming off a turf injury. He only played the last 2 games. Before that, he missed 3 games.
Wow!
So he had a turf toe.
Well, he got some fresh legs at least. He got fresh
Yeah,
legs.
yes, yes. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how he stacks up against it because he's the only guy. He's a great combat catcher, and I
Okay.
call that when you go up and compete with the
Right.
DB because
The
he's got
50-50
size to
balls.
him, six
Right.
three, yeah, 50 balls.
Hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see when he goes against those guys how he really looks against some elite level type corners. Because I don't think he had played anybody that's elite the last. Well, he didn't go against them, but he did catch a deep ball on the Green Bay corner, 23 Zaire.
Hmm.
Uh, but that was at the end of the game, and they looked like they were going to run the ball out of and then he went and threw a deep ball to him on one receiver out there. So it was kind of crazy. That was the only time. But I want to see him. I want to see how he stacks up. It's going to be an interesting game, though. And it has to go the Titans' way in running the football to even be in the game.
Right.
That's the only
Right.
way they can win
Right.
it, as you said, with their identity.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I don't know if they have an answer for Hurts and his running
No,
ability.
nobody has an answer for Hurts. No, nobody. The only way you can halfway contain Hurts is to play zone, because particularly if you're blitzing, if you blitz and you force him out of the pocket and he starts running and you're playing man to man, now your corners and your safeties are running down the field with their back to him. So they can't see him. He picks up 10, 15 yards before you even know he's running. And that's what happened last week with Green Bay. They were playing a lot of man and they were blitzing him. And he took off running, got like a 30-yard run, his first run. That's because the corners and the safety was running down the field with their backs to the line of scrimmage because they were covering man to man. So you can't really play man and contain him. You got to play some kind of shell where you can at least keep an eye on the line of scrimmage so that your secondary help can see when he runs, so he doesn't get those real big runs. I mean, he ran for 150 some yards last week. It's crazy.
It was crazy. Yeah, I think he was one of the first quarterbacks, if not the only quarterback in the NFL to run for 150 yards. I think I saw a stat on Twitter, like, and throw for 150 by halftime or some
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
number. I couldn't
It was
remember what I saw.
stupid.
I was like, what?
Yeah, it was
I was
stupid.
like, oh man. So I guess lastly then, how has he seen the field though, whether he's playing zone or man?
Well, he's seeing the field much better this year. As you probably know, this is the first time in his career, high school, college, even the pros, though he's only his third year in the pros, this is the first time being in the same system 2 years in a row. He's
Oh,
never been in the same system in back-to-back years. So last year, they obviously, Sirianni came in and Steichen came in and they put in the offensive sets that they have now, the plays, and now it's year two for them. So you could see it at the beginning of the year in training camp, how he was seeing things better because he had the whole off season too to get acquainted and to go to the next level and to have things slow down for him and to know what he's doing in that same offense. So he just made a big leap. He made a big jump with regards to throwing the ball, anticipating, throwing guys open, throwing the ball in the middle field, throwing the ball outside. He just made a big jump. He did. And, the big question for him was his passing ability. But I believe it had a lot to do with the fact that he was always changing offenses. Because now that he's in the same offense for 2 years in a row, I mean, he's like a whole different guy throwing the ball.
wow. I've been a big fan of his for ever since he got benched in that SEC
Right.
championship game.
Right. Yeah.
And I knowing his background and knowing he was a coach's kid and all that, and how he handled that whole situation, and he just seems like he's a worker and grinder. I knew he
He's a
was
rock.
eventually going to, he was going to be able to throw the football because going to Oklahoma, that
Hmm.
was a challenge. So he knew the challenge and said, "I'm gonna take it on.
Right.
I'm gonna take
Right.
it on." They said I
Yeah.
can't throw the ball. I'm gonna go to a school that
Right.
throws the ball, and I'm
Right.
gonna show you
Yeah.
that I can. So
Yeah.
every time, so even going into this season, I did a show with Dan Sileo, and I told him, I said, I believe in this kid. And I've never met him. I said because he gets better every year, every
Hmm.
time I watch him.
Hmm.
And I said, I like people like that. And this dude believes in himself, and he has that self awareness and self
Right.
confidence,
Yes.
understanding who he is and
Yes.
what he's about, and he gonna go put in the time and the work. So
And it,
usually those guys have a lot of success in the National Football League.
and it has a lot to do, like you said, how he was raised, what his parents taught him, the environment that he was brought up in. He is a rock. He is his countenance, his demeanor, all of that. Man, he's steady. Whether they're winning or whether they're behind, whether something good happens, whether something bad happens, he's the same. all the time. And that's just remarkable. He's made he's made to be the quarterback of Philly, because you know how they can get here in Philly, bro.
Ooh, boy. They said it's a city of brotherly love.
No,
I
they ain't.
don't know.
No, they
Wait,
ain't.
wait, let AJ Brown drop another ball
Yeah.
or fumble. They will get him
Look,
quickly.
they're already getting him. The sport, at least the sports analysts are already getting him. Yeah, yeah. They almost turned the season into a bad season already. I'm like, no, he's not having a bad season. He just had a couple of bad plays.
Couple games, yeah. I learned that my 1 year there. I mean, we were 13-3, and I'm like, dang man, they act like we 3-13 up in here, man. What the heck is going on?
That's how they are in Philly.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Listen, bro, I
No,
appreciate you, man, for taking the time out. It's just good talking to you. I never really got a chance to really talk to you. We've known each other and knew about each other from a distance.
Yes.
And when I hit you up, man, you hit me right back. I appreciate that, because we're in the same football NFL fraternity. We're retired now.
Yes, brothers.
And I don't know, they probably don't do it to you, but some guys do it to me. They big time me. You know, I try to hit guys.
Yeah, they do. They
Big time you. I try to hit them
I
up.
see why. Watch this. I see why they big time me, but you gonna be a future Hall of Fame. You gonna get in that extra ballot vote. I mean, when they come down, there's no way you should not be in the Hall of Fame, man. Come on, man. We gotta stop all this. Sometimes they big time me. Oh man, come on, man. Oh, we all brothers. We all
That right,
brothers.
right.
We all got before. So
That's right.
Nobody yeah.
That's right.
You got tackled. You fumbled.
Uh-huh.
And, I
Yep.
missed a tackle. And
Yep.
come on, man.
Yep.
We all in this fraternity together.
So yeah, that kind of disturbs me sometimes. I try to shake it off and let it roll down my back, but I'm like, what?
It hurts. No doubt.
Negro, do you know? Not do you know who I am, but I know who you are. Come on. So I appreciate Armand Green was on last week with me.
Oh yeah.
He came on 2 weeks ago and everything went crazy, and he came back on for me the next week because I shut it down. So that was just very admirable of him to come on. Yeah, great dude, man. We had a great time last week. He was really good. But this was a great conversation too, man. I appreciate you, bro. And anything I can do for you, you want me to come down and holler, not come down, but get on your show and holler at you, or just say something crazy, just holler at me. You got my number.
Always, Irv, man. I appreciate you, brother, man. Thanks for having me on, man.
All right, Blaine. I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, bro. Have a good holiday. All right. Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, you too.
God bless you. All right. Thanks.
Hitman out.
Yes, Hitman is out. Yeah, y'all. That's Blaine Bishop. Let me see if I can get these comments. Steve Andrews, I see you. I'm gonna try to get these comments back where I had them before. In my middle screen here, stuff is acting up here today as usual. Let me see if I can get them back over here in front of me where I can see them. But y'all, we had a good time. Oh, listen, I got to talk to y'all now that Blaine's gone. But we want to thank Blaine for coming on. I'm gonna give him a hand clap. See, my hand clap, my applause button is not even working. Everything is froze up right now. Thank God the stream is not frozen. And watch, because I pushed the applause button, all of a sudden we're going to get applause out of nowhere when we don't need it. Let me see. Disconnect, connecting, disconnect. Okay, come on. All right, this is not working. See what I tell you? I told you. The applause came out of nowhere. Ever since Apple updated its system. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this works. Ever since Apple updated its system, come on. Ever since Apple updated its system, this whole thing has been acting the fool. I don't know what is going on with it. Hopefully it settles down in the next couple of weeks. Stu, I see you. Al Williams, I see you. Okay, we're back here. Come on, over here. Is it going to work? No, it's not going to work. All right, I'm just going to do it this way. I'm just going to have to look away from y'all. Let me get this fry pad out of here. All right, here we go. I can see the comments now. Let me just look over here with the comments. All right, so listen, this is what I want to tell y'all this week, because I got Steve Andrews, I see you. Richard Melton, okay. Al Williams, great show, thank you. Forte, what's going on? Hope, Vinny Capriati, what's happening? Keenan, I see you, bro. What'd you call blanketed? We call him Blanket Tit. Is that what you said? Kamani Davis, what's happening? Thanks for being here with us today. Stu, I called Stu out. Who else? Marty's Menu. I don't know. Marty, you still with me? Out there in California. Vanetta, Sister Sally, all of y'all. Listen, here's what I need you to understand. Let me put this over here, minimize it a little bit. Okay. All right. So here's what I need us to understand. Let me throw this up there. Last week, we had Amon Green on. I'm going to hurry up and do this, all right? Last week, we had Amon Green on, and I had some statistics, a couple of statistics that I put out as a contest. And those who answered, I had Hope answering last week. I had Richard Melton answering last week, and I deemed them as the winners. And I was going to send Hope 2 T-shirts, and I was going to send Richard 2 T-shirts, and there was somebody else I was going to send T-shirts to. I can't remember who it was. So Hope, you got to help me remember who that other person was. I think it was Marty. Yeah, I think it was Marty I was going to send a T-shirt to. But apparently I was off with my statistics. Apparently what I was saying was askew. It wasn't totally accurate because the names that I was looking for with regards to the number one player in Nebraska history, running back. Apparently there's somebody else other than who I thought. And then the other cat, there was another person that had 2 90-yard runs who was in the NFL running back. There were other people, I guess there were, because I got emails, I got text messages, I got direct messages from people saying, you were wrong. It wasn't that. No, there were other people that did it, and so on and so forth. I got a call from my sister Hope too, and she said, yeah, there were probably a couple other people that that were in the running or should have been named or mentioned. So here's what I'm going to do, because I am that guy. That's who I am. Yes, I is. I'm that guy. I can't remember who the people were that came on last week. I don't have all of the comments from last week. I don't save them. They don't save. Okay. So I don't know who the people were who guessed, and I told you were wrong. So if you're watching this now, or if you watch this later on, hit me up. You see it right there. Hit me up. The Fryar Place. Send me an email. Send me an email with your name, telling me what answer you gave. All right. I'll remember when I see it. Send me an email. I'm going to send you a T-shirt. I think there were like 4 other people, maybe 5 other people who guessed, and I clowned you. I told you were wrong. But I don't know if you were right or not, but because I was wrong, I'm going to give you a T-shirt. So please hit me up if you see this. If you were with us last week and you guessed a name in the contest with regards to Amon Green and the other players that were in the same category as him in terms of the number one running back coming out of Nebraska, or the other running back who had 2 90-yard or more runs in their career. If you guessed and I told you were wrong, then please send me your information here at the Fryar Place at gmail.com, and I will send you a T-shirt. When you send your information, when you email me there at the Fryar Place at gmail.com, make sure before you do that, you go to Press and Sew and you check out the merch. So you can tell me what shirt you want, what color you want, T-shirt, what T-shirt you want, what color you want, and what size. All right. You need to email me your name, what you guessed, that you were at the show, you were watching and you guessed, and I told you were wrong, but it doesn't matter if you were wrong or right. Just because you guessed and I was wrong, I'm going to send you a T-shirt. I need your address. All right. I need your name. I need all that information. All right. So that we can make this right. I got to make this right. That's who I am. But y'all, we had a great show today. I thank all of you for being with us. Mom is here. Brother Al Williams, Rudo, Brother Al Williams is in the house. Richard Melton is in the house. Good to see you. Hope Wiley, my sister. That's my baby sister. I got faith. Y'all can't lose. And God is all around me and in me. Boy, I'm good. Sister Sally, Vanetta, God bless you. Keenan, man, I love you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate you. Stu Winrow. Stu, it's always good to see you coming in the house. Always good to see you coming in the house supporting. Thank you. Go all the way back to our childhood. Marty's Menu. Are you still with us, Marty? Holla at me. Because I got to send you a T-shirt from last week, I believe. David Hump coming in late on my lunch break. We'll watch the replay. Yeah, David, I appreciate you. I got to hit me up, David. Send me your digits so that I can, I got to call you because I need something from you. I need you to play something for me. A few tracks that I can use. All right. Go Boo Birds. Stu said go Boo Birds. What is that, Stu? Go Boo Birds. What is that? Let me minimize this a little bit. Go Boo Birds. Come on. Minimize. There you go. Go Boo Birds. I don't know. Anyway. I don't know what that means, Stu. Kamani Davis, God bless you. Vincent Capriati, good to see you. Yes, good afternoon to you too, brother. Forte, Boris Forte, you still in the house? I'm sorry I have to look that way. I'm looking at my comments. Normally I can look right here, but stuff is acting up right now. Steve Andrews, good to see you. God bless you, brother. Mom said it was a great show. Yeah, it was a good show. Great. I got some great guests. And Blaine is awesome. He's a very articulate. He was that way when I saw him on interviews. I never played against the cat, but I saw him on interviews when we were actually playing. He was the same way. He belongs either on radio or TV, doing that kind of stuff. He's great. Oh, Marty, you still there? Okay, bro. God bless you. Yeah. Marty, me too. You did too? I did too? What did I do? Dennis Donez. What's going on? Dennis Donez, my bruh. Should I put some of this on? Should I turn this on? Let me put this on. This for Donez. Vinny Capriati said Mike Rozier was a great. Just forget it, Vinny. All right, because you're one of the ones that called me and texted me and whatnot, telling me I screwed up. So just leave it. I'm just gonna give everybody a T-shirt that contacts me. I'm gonna remind everybody over the next couple of weeks, because I'm sure there's some people. I see some people who are not. I know there's some people who are not watching right now who are watching live last week. So yes, 5 others that you saw, Richard. Yeah, I think there were 5 other people. So I'm gonna be looking for them. Y'all hit me up at thefryerplace@gmail.com right there. All right. Y'all see it right here. Marty's Menu. I know I'm waiting for Jen to choose one. Well, okay. Just hit me up, Marty, when Jen chooses. All right. Last week calling people out. Al Williams, prayers up for you for our frat Steve Wilkes to land this job here in Charlotte with the Cats. Yeah. He's a local brother too. Prayers up for him. Yes, sir. Let me throw that up for you. Ooh, I gotta minimize that, man. Guess I shouldn't minimize it. Pull it back down. I gotta work on that. It made it too big. Oh Lord have mercy. All right, y'all. Oh, I'm sorry, Donez. That's for you. I'm done. Yo, I'm out of here. Thank you for supporting the Fryar Place. Don't forget, you can find us on iHeartRadio. It's not going to come up. Oh, there it is. iHeartRadio. Download the iHeartRadio app. Yeah. Search the Fryar Place, and you can listen to us on iHeartRadio. Don't forget about Press and Sew. Yes, where our merch. You go find our merch. Everything you buy, pressandsew.com/TFP. Everything you purchase, the proceeds go to charity. Y'all hit me up, the Fryar Place @gmail.com. All right. Peace out, Doctor. Marty said, peace out, Doctor. I appreciate you, Marty. God bless you, man. We had a great time in Mexico. I don't know if we're going back to Mexico next year. We're going somewhere else. But anyway, maybe we'll let you know, Marty. We had a good time, man. We had a good time. All right, y'all. I'm out. We'll see you next week, Lord willing. And the creek don't rise. And my song is not, there it goes. Lord willing, the creek don't rise. Y'all stay safe. There's crazy things going on. Whole lot of people doing a whole lot of stupid stuff. So take care of yourselves. Be aware of your environment. Don't do anything or go anywhere. Come on, song. Unless you have to. Now my song's not working. Okay, here we go. There it is. I told you stuff is just technology. All right, y'all. I'm out. God bless you. I love you. I appreciate all of you, your support. We'll see you next week here at the Fryar Place, where the conversations are fire. God bless you. Peace.